Hey, it's Saturday morning. What y'all got going on? Good morning, everybody. This is Ms. B. Thank you so much, Lord, for giving me another day. I'm excited and I am rejoicing in it. That's not a cliche for me. I'm really excited. Hey, everybody. It's Sabbath for some and Saturday for others and just another day for some. I want to let you know that I'm excited. No matter what you consider this day to be, to me it's a blessing. I'm alive. I'm able to come before you by way of Facebook and make some announcements. And the title of the episode today is Can You Hear Me Now? Ms. B, what does that got to do with saving my soul? That's right, everybody. You know, Ms. B is all about saving souls, encouraging others to grow spiritually. No matter what station you are in life, there's always something that somebody can add to your life to motivate you to rise above the situations and circumstances that right now may feel so overwhelming. But we'll talk about that later. Good morning, Pastor Nee. That's my baby girl. Hey, Dimples. I'm excited. That's right. This is Ms. B, Positively Ms. B, coming at you first thing in the morning on a Saturday. I got some announcements to make. But first and foremost, Father, I give you all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise for allowing me yet again to be a ministerial servant of your word on this day that so many say is the Sabbath. But for you right now, Father, I want to give you the opportunity to speak through me, because it's not about me. I'm not here to entertain anybody and make a name for myself. I'm here to be a ministerial servant, and the word that you have given me today is absolutely amazing. And I thank you for allowing me to be the one who will be the messenger. All right, everybody, this is Ms. B. Amen and amen. Thank you so much. I'm excited. What am I talking about? But before I get started on that message, I got some public service announcements to make. Today, and again, I'm not going to take a lot of time from that because I seem to be averaging right around 45 minutes or so. But I want to let you know that if you're in the Richmond-Petersburg area, there is a fashion show at the Stony Point Mall. Our very own Renee Lacey, a Power Moment with Renee Lacey. She's a podcaster, but she's also the CEO of the Cameo Model and Talent Agency. And she's doing some really big things in the area as far as fashion shows are concerned. I'm not going to give her a whole lot of time, but I'm going to be posting her flyer. But there's a fashion show today at the Stony Point Mall. I'm encouraging you to go out and support her because some of her local models are there. That's right, local. She has models all over the globe. She's been in this business for over 30 years. Michael Rezick is one of them. He's well known for his acting abilities and a few others. But that being said, I encourage you to go out and support our own Storm Talk 365, Renee Lacey, CEO and founder of the Cameo Model and Talent Agency, giving a fashion show right there at the Stony Point Mall, indoors. Dillard, as a matter of fact. So if you have something that you want to do today and it's in that area, stop by the Stony Point Mall and I'll post a flyer there. The second thing is I'm on a rant. That's right. So many of us are leaders of different organizations, church and social, and there's a lot of things going on in the legal community that we're not aware of. But the 2017 Interfaith National Summit is coming up November the 9th through the 11th. And I'm telling you something, a lot of you are paying money to go to this place and that place. But if you have the opportunity to come before a dynamic group of panelists that we have concerning the legalities in the interfaith community, it's not just about in the churches. What about your daycares? What about anything that you have been concerned about as a leader? The legalities have changed since the Trump administration has taken over. Discrimination. It's not even about church. What about sexual discrimination because of your preference of who you decide to have a mate with? There's a lot of things that's going to be discussed at this summit. A lot of representatives from the LGBT community. I think I got the right. You have business leaders. You have people who are talking about finances. We have a representative from a 501c business, and she has cut down the red tape. You can get certified when as little as 6 months, and that's the truth. But I'm not going to tell you all about that. I am going to be promoting it much more intensely starting today, and her flyers are going to be out. But I encourage you to Google each person to see what they have to offer you, because there's something there for everybody. If you don't want to go to the whole summit, we have I call it an a la carte package. You can go to different portions of the summit that only interest you. But I'm telling you something. We as individuals whether business owners or interfaith community or whatever. There's a lot of things in the legal community that this summer is going to educate you on. I'm being honest. So please look into attending the 2017 Interfaith National Summit. I'm going to be promoting it. Follow us at the Church at Risk social media sites, Twitter, Instagram. We have Church at Risk Facebook pages. The National Summit has a Facebook page. Please follow us. Our own, very own Lance Watson from Richmond, Virginia is going to be a keynote speaker at the event. So again, Google the different participants. We have Diana Oliver from the Oliver Insurance Agency, and she insures over 300 people, businesses on her own. So that being said, these people are very versed in the areas that they're representing, and I encourage all of you, if you have to sell donuts and wash cars, to send at least one representative from your church, social, or civic organization to get there and bring the information back to you. It would be well worth the investment. So again, look for a lot of information coming from me on the 2017 Interfaith National Summit on behalf of Michelle Rhett, the Sacred Veil. She also has podcast, The Church at Risk. Not only is it on Storm Talk 365, but I've established her own Spreaker network so she can post individually. But that being said, those are the two shameless plugs. I'm excited about my podcast. They're doing great things, and I'm looking forward to you supporting the 2017 Interfaith National Summit, not only to support it, but to go and glean what they have to share with you. All right, everybody, what we're going to talk about today. First, let me make this announcement. The name of, well, not the name, the focus of the live today is, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? First, let me just say, again, if you just joined me, I don't feed you anything I don't eat. These are the things that my Father is working on me with. I'm a very, very firm supporter of the 8 prayer watches overnight, and the 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. seems to be the time that I'm awakened the most and to get the most revelation. So first, let me just share the big news before I get into the message. I started out as an independent podcast on different networks, and then through a lot of encouragement from Jerry Royce, I decided to go ahead and get me a Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk was where I started, but I outgrew that. It was just too many people coming on, and I just could not stick with Blog Talk engineering different shows. So I went to a platform where they could be pre-recorded. Hey, Millie, I just got through talking about the fashion show. Millie, look her up, Milgrose Richards. She's a cameo model. She's a part of the, I guess you could say, the board of directors. She's going to be out there at Stony Point Mall for the fashion show. But let me get back to what I was saying. I started out at Blog Talk, and then I moved to Spreaker. So the big announcement is, Father has worked with me, and I'm going back to Blog Talk as Positively Ms.B. That's right, I'm going back to Blog Talk as Positively Ms.B. But that being said, there's some other things that I'm going to invite others to do. But for right now, every Saturday's episode, a morning show with Ms.B. is going to be Saturdays live on Blog Talk, where you'll be able to call in and participate. And the topics are going to be somewhat controversial, but yet interesting. My first topic, which is next Saturday, is the history of Christianity. That's right, the history of Christianity. Does it matter? That being said, that is the first topic. Next Saturday morning, I'll be doing live Facebook as well, but I'll also be recording live on Blog Talk, and I'll be posting that information today, the number and the topic. And on Saturdays, I may or may not have a guest, but my first Saturday is going to be with me discussing the history of Christianity. Does it matter? Hi, Baron. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. So that's the first topic of my new Blog Talk Radio platform starting next Saturday. You'll be able to call in and discuss with me the history of Christianity, and does it matter? Every Saturday will be a different topic with or without a guest. Unless there's something major that I have to do, it will be live. It is available to download pre-recorded episodes as well. But for right now, Positively Ms. B is going to Blog Talk, and I'll be live every Saturday morning. Praise the Lord, His will be done, 10 a.m. East Coast time, so you can call in and ask questions and participate with the topic. Next week's topic, my first topic, is the history of Christianity, and does it matter? So that's the big news. There are other things coming on down the pike, but one thing at a time. I don't want to overload you, but I'm excited about going back to my roots. I'm excited about being able to offer people such as Michelle Rhett the opportunity to continue to go live with her Michelle Rhett Live broadcasts. We started out on KTGS Radio. Now this is transitioning into what I want to talk about. She was doing live every Monday at 1 p.m. on KTGS Radio with Elder Byron. I was blessed to have Elder Byron to offer me the opportunity to be his general manager for KTGS Radio. And things happen, not necessarily for you walk through the door, but to see what's on the other side of it. And I was so excited because, to be chosen to do that for someone who's been in the business for 11 years. And that was just an exciting thing. But, once I settled down in my emotions, the reality hit. My plate is so full that I could not give him all the time that he needed for me to be the general manager. And it turned out it was meant for him to reorganize anyway, because he took it in a whole different direction. And now he's doing great things. Him and his family are running. He renamed the radio station, and he's doing great things. I'm not going to take a lot of time with that because I want to move into why that happened for me. Sometimes doors are open for you not to walk through, but to let you see what's on the other side. For those of you who have been following me for a while, that's how I got to become Positively Ms.B on Storm Talk 365. I went from glory to glory to glory, but when the Father says, no, it's time for you to move, I've maintained my independence. I have not been identified with anybody else. I was blessed to have Charles Gentry to invite me to be the president of the Force Without Limits and Horizon Speakers Alliance, along with my daughter being a national sales and marketing director. And over a year ago, he became ill, and we did not reveal that because that was his personal concerns, but he became ill. And since then, I am now the CEO of the Force Without Limits and Horizon Speakers Alliance, in addition to Storm Talk 365, and a few other things that I have going on. So my plate is full. That being said, KTGS Radio was a wake-up call. So now I have to go back to my roots through Blog Talk, and the next thing was I am going to start doing a live radio network through Storm Talk 365, and that's coming down the pike. But again, there are some things that happen to get you to wake up and say, wait a minute, that's not what I need to do. So what are we going to talk about today? Can you hear me now? This is very important. Some of you have a personal relationship with me who are listening. But this is whether you are into multi-level marketing, ministry, any kind of small business, wherever you are. Can you hear me now? Well, what happened was, y'all, I wasn't listening to what the Father was telling me. I had it all made up in my mind that when I started Storm Talk 365 back on Blog Talk and moved to Spreaker, that I wanted everybody to be a podcaster and not have to worry about whether they paid or not. This is very important, whether they paid or not. Now, paying has different meanings, so let's keep it moving. So I was focused on giving everybody an opportunity to have a ministry and have it global without the concern of whether you had to pay. So a lot of networks are charging fees, and I understand that. And I had convinced myself, yes, that freely the Father has given me and freely I give. I don't want to stop anybody from having a podcast because they can't afford the monthly fee. I want the message to go out. So as the time went on, I became more, I just love all of my podcasters, past, present, and I became involved with them personally, and I understood their personal plight. I'm like, okay, well, this station is not taking care of itself financially, but I can't put my podcasters through that because some of them are really just not able to have an extra expense, okay? So what happened was, y'all, can you hear me now? So my husband was taking over the financial responsibilities without me taking the network to different levels because I did not want to add financial responsibility to the podcasters. Can you hear me now? All right, so this is what I want all of you to understand. When you deal with sports, everybody tries out. But do you realize that a coach has to make the difficult decision to let a lot of good players go to make room for the best? A lot of players don't make it not because they're not good enough to play, but especially in the rec leagues and the different leagues where you have different fees and different things you have to pay. And they're not able to do that. And regardless of how talented and skilled they are, the coach can't take on responsibilities for paying for their uniforms and their licenses and their fees and their health insurance and paying for them to get their physicals. So a lot of people are self-eliminating due to unfortunate circumstances. It does not mean that they don't have the talent or the skill. There are a lot of people who go to try out for different things. You have all of these shows on, who's got talent and who doesn't have talent. I'm not going to name the shows, but a lot of people really have talent. But it comes down to a point where you have to eliminate the truly amazing talent. You have to eliminate the truly amazing talent. Not eliminate, separate the truly amazing talent from those who are just talented. It doesn't mean that they're not going to move forward. I mean, look at so many people who were kicked off and wound up having record contracts and moving forward. Fantasia, I mean, there's a lot of people who've done great. So I had to look back. I said, if the world can do that, what is my problem? So I was just out of balance. Can you hear me now? I just talked about balance. I just talked about separation, okay? Again, whether you're an MLM, a minister, it doesn't matter. Sometimes we have to have balance. So what had happened was, can you hear me now? My anniversary, 2-year anniversary is coming up November the 1st. And through a lot of trial and tribulation and emotional involvement, I had to listen to the Lord. He never told me to be free indefinitely. He never told me not to charge. I decided that. And so what had happened was, I started becoming frustrated. Let me tell you about sports. My son and both of my daughter participated in rec league, and my husband did rec league refereeing and coaching for years. So I got a little bit idea about rec league, because that's where a lot of fees come in for the families. So let me just tell you what happened when it came to the podcast. As I started realizing that I was carrying their weight instead of handling myself as a business. Can you hear me now? What has that got to do with saving your life? I'm going to tell you that in a minute. The Father has given us certain guidelines to do everything in life, and that includes business. Let's talk about seed sowing, and I'm really serious about that. When I came upon the vision spiritually to have Storm Talk 365, I was sowing seeds globally, but my podcasters were coming along gleaning. They weren't sowing, they were gleaning, because I didn't ask them to sow. I just let them glean. Whatever Ms.B did, they reaped the benefits of it. Well, there comes a time where sometimes people have to start sowing and reaping for themselves. I wasn't allowing that, because I made up in my mind that I was never going to be a network that charged. What did I do? I did not allow the best to sow. I did not allow the rest to decide if they wanted to sow. I just decided for myself that I was never going to be a fee-based network. Can you hear me now? What I'm trying to tell you is, when you go into anything and you don't seek the Father's guidance, you can make a mess of things, and then you want him to bail you out. I didn't listen. I made up my own rules. But when it comes to business, there are certain principles that we should be listening to. Can you hear me now? When I first started out, I think what happened was, so many people was in my ear because I was so new. Ms.B, you need to do this. Ms.B, you need to do that. Everybody was telling me what I need to do. And I'm like, okay, I need to shut out the noise. Well, I remembered what they said, but I still went on my own way, and I did not want to charge, because I saw so many people that had so many good messages. But again, every coach has tryouts. Not everybody makes it. But the ones that do, they are willing to go to practice on time. They're willing to do whatever the extra workouts it takes. They have the funds that they need to pay for their physicals. They are on point. It doesn't mean the rest of them don't have good intentions. Um, Great football teams, basketball teams, any great team is not made on good intentions. I'm going to give you one more example, then I'm going to move on. When I was selling body magics and went to the artist, there was a young lady who, I'm not going to call her name because they're still out there, but who encouraged all of us. For those who are familiar with multi-level marketing, it's about recruiting, and your income is based on a recruit method, okay? So she was encouraging us, if they don't have the money, pay their fee and they'll make it back for you. I'm quiet. Pay their fee, invest in them, and they will make it back for you. So let me just fast forward. Didn't happen. Paid fees. Folks never did anything. They weren't invested. It was my money. They ain't lose it. They ain't care. Let me tell you something. Jesus Christ died on the cross to set us free. He died on the cross. He set us free, and he gave us complete authority. Before he ascended to heaven, he said, these things I do, you shall do them in greater. All right? How many people are bringing their baggage with them and not accepting responsibility for the deliverance that we have? But they want the benefits. Jesus, help me. But you're still out there doing everything you want to do. You're not making any changes. Can you hear me now? I'm going somewhere with this. When it came to the podcasters, I had to understand, if they wanted it bad enough, regardless of what I charge, those who are able and willing to do it will, and those will be the ones who will give me the best performance. Once you invest in something, okay? Jesus Christ invested in us. Can you hear me now? What are you doing to appreciate that investment? Are you sowing back? Are you following the recommendations? Are you just gleaning along whatever he throws back? Oh, I got this, and you think that's enough. Do you realize if you actually sowed into your spiritual life, how much you could get from that? Storm Talk 365 is going into its second year. And as of November the 1st, I'm no longer a free podcast network. I'm not expecting to keep 30 podcasts because a lot of people don't see the value in paying. Some people want to pay for their own network. Some people can't afford it. Regardless, I'm not expecting to have 30 podcasts as of November the 1st. And I'm good with that. Because what I want to do, can you hear me now, is focus on those who are willing and able to go a different level. Okay. Jesus Christ died on the cross to set us free. Not everybody is getting the full benefit of that because they're not willing to go to the next level themselves. He can only do but so much for us. Are you willing to go to the next level? Are you understanding what it takes to have a relationship with Jesus Christ? Are you willing to turn loose and sacrifice and say, you know what? I'm going to give up porn. I'm going to give up all forms of uncleanliness. I'm going to try my best. Are you willing to take it to the next level? Or are you just gleaning along and get a blessing here and there? Can you hear me now? As far as business owners and CEOs, are you trying to carry the weight of the world? Every time somebody lays off somebody, it is not for them to hurt somebody. They're not doing it to personally hurt anybody. They would love to keep all their employees, but you have to do what's good for the entire company. I was trying to do good for the entire podcasting network, but not for the network. Everybody had a story, and I was thinking about what they were going through, but that wasn't for the good of the network. Employees don't lay off to hurt people. They lay off for the good of the network, the company, the corporation. If you don't think Jesus Christ is listening to your prayers, is there something you're not doing to elicit his attention? There's a scripture that says, get away from you, work of iniquity, I never knew you. 2 Chronicles 7:14 talks about you have to pray, seek his face. A few other things. There's 4 things you're supposed to do before you can even get an audience. Did you know that? There's so many things that is required of you other than just saying, I love Jesus, what's wrong with you? Can you hear me now? So I'm going to move forward. The second thing that I want to talk about is now that I'm moving into my second year, a lot of opportunities opened up for me. But a lot of people don't know this, but I am doing so much better. Okay, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I'm doing so much better. But sometimes going to different functions, I'm in so much pain I don't enjoy myself. And it's come to a point now that even though I have good days and better days, I no longer want to overexert myself just to please other people, because if I wind up hurting myself, that I'm no good to the mission that the Father has given me. Number 3, can you hear me now? Are you pushing yourself past the limit just to please other people because you have a problem with saying no? I did a video on let your no be no and your yes be yes. Can you hear me now? When you accept the responsibility of being a leader, you also have to understand no and yes to yourself. Let your no to yourself be no and your yes be yes to you. We have to take care of ourselves first, or the total vision could be messed up. So again, can you hear me now? This is the next thing I want to tell you, and I'm going to move forward to that. I've been doing this for a long time, but sometimes I have to shut out the noise. Some of you who have a personal relationship with me understand that there's some things that's been going on with me personally, professionally, financially, health-wise, and sometimes it's like a knot of yarn, and it just keeps snowballing, and you can't find the end, and so it just sits there. And with fibromyalgia, that's what happens. When you have an abundance of stress, there's something called there are triggers, and then you have a flare-up. And then the flare-up, you can see it coming. A lot of people have auras before they have a seizure. Well, fibromyalgia has auras. And I had allowed so much to fester up with Whether the Charge of podcasters and a whole bunch of other stuff. And now I can see a flare-up coming. Flare-ups can last from a couple of days to a couple of weeks, but you have to back yourself up. Have you ever had that ball of yarn or something knotted up and you just take your time? Well, right now, I had to back up, and I'm taking my time. I had to shut the noise out, and I'm not finished shutting the noise out. Can you hear me now? How many of you know the story of Job when he was going through, and he had his wife in the ear and the children in the ear and everybody in the ear and the friends, and then he just wanted to listen to the Lord. The enemy was like, blah, 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 I can't believe, go ahead and ask to die. You got so much going on. So I had to shut the noise out. And let me tell you something. Every time that I shut the noise out, to me, that's a form of fasting. Fasting away from the noise of the world. Fasting away from the opinions of others. Fasting away from things that are coming at you and adding to the stress. How many of you don't know how to shut out the noise so you can hear from God? And if you're not a follower of Jesus Christ, I understand it. But how many of you have taken the time to shut out the noise so you can really hear what you need to hear and see what you need to see? I am the president of, I'm the CEO of Storm Talk 365, the CEO of the Poets Without Limits, the CEO of Horizons Speakers Alliance. I have a few other things going on. I am diligently trying to help Michelle Rett with her social media on the Church at Risk National Summit coming up. I'm involved with Ellis Crum with a few things. I have a lot of other people depending on me. So if I allow the podcasters who are not vesting themselves to pull me down, if I allow my children, my husband, my finances, I had to shut the noise out to see what God has planned for me. Because if I trust Him to handle everything, then I can handle what He's told me to handle. So I had to shut the noise out. And let me tell you, this is the end. Can you hear me now? The revelations that I've gotten in the past couple of days since I shut the noise out, from everybody not understanding my health issues, not understanding why I don't give up Storm Talk, why am I staying, why am I not, all these questions and advice, I shut the noise out, and let me tell you, Blog Talk is not the last thing that the Father has told me to keep pushing, keep pressing. I don't care if you are a multi-level marketer, I don't care if you got a church with ain't nobody in there but your family, whatever it is, and you feel right now questionable about whether you're doing the right thing or not, shut the noise out. Nothing happens overnight. Shut the noise out. You're missing something. You're missing the small, still voice of the Lord, because if you listen, he will direct your footsteps. He will order everything. Can you hear me now? He's asking, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? But I know God, she said, he said, I got to do this. No. What did I tell you to do? So, can you hear me now? Jesus is asking, can you hear him? Are you listening to him? Are you listening to, he said, walk by faith, not by sight. Are you looking at the fact that your bank account is overdrawn? Are you looking at the fact that your phone is ringing all the time for bill collectors? Are you looking at the fact that you and your husband are not speaking? Your children are gone AWOL? Are you looking at all the outside variances? Are you listening to him for what he's asked you to do? Because if you do what he asked you to do, everything else will fall into place. Because he said, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all of his righteousness. And then. Some of us are seeking all of this other stuff and putting him behind. I got to do this for me. I got to work this out. Are you serious? That's what he told me. He has never left me or forsaken me. When my book comes out, and as I move up to the book, I'll be sharing a few more things. But let me tell you something. He has never left me or forsaken me. And this, too, is already done. I need to stay focused on what he's told me to do. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Thanks to Wisdom Hope. I've heard this so many times, and I've told so many other people. You know, you have a gift. I always use the parable about the woman with the oil. She says, you know, I'm broke. I ain't got no money. And, you know, he said, well, woman, if you don't go down the street and get some big old containers so we can make this thing happen. She was like, what? Make a long story short, she brought back some vessels, and he just kept miraculously filling it up. You have enough oil in your life to satisfy every need, because the Father said, it's done. Are you aware that the gift that you are holding inside of you is waiting to come out, that you will never want for anything? I don't care if it's poetry, making stuff from rice. I don't care what it is. Are you operating in the gift? Can you hear him now? The Father has given me a gift, and I'm shutting out the noise, and I'm focusing on that gift. And what I can do without the noise from other people is amazing, because opinions are only good to those who give it. Stop trying to explain yourself, because you're wasting time. What you're doing is trying to convince yourself. If you're certain in your walk, regardless of what it is, you don't need to explain yourself. Just stay focused, just like the horse with the blinders on and the carrot hanging out. Keep your blinders on, and Jesus Christ is your carrot. Just stay focused. Because let me tell you something. We are in some no return times. No return times. Let me just move on, because I don't want to keep you. Let me go to the wisdom corner. But what does the Bible say about listening? James 1:19. Know this, my beloved brothers, let every person, I don't care from the pulpit to the parking lot, I don't care if you got so many initials behind your name that you could have a sentence, it said let every person be quick to hear. Hear him. First and foremost, hear him. And whoever is talking to you, hear what they're saying. And if it doesn't make sense, don't hear it. Slow to speak. I was quick to say, I hear you, God, but I don't think I should charge. I hear you, God, but I don't want to go live. I was telling him what I didn't want to do, and all the time he was telling me what I should do, but I just wouldn't be quiet. That also with relationships. Listen to what they're saying and keep your mouth shut to make sure you're not misunderstanding and then have a wrong answer. Slow to anger. Personally, I never got angry with my father. I got angry with myself because I didn't want to listen. I'm like, I don't want to do that. But also anger when it comes to listening to somebody else. Why are they setting you off? There's a weakness in you that's allowing you to be set off. It said slow to speak, slow to anger. But more importantly, listen. Can you hear me now? What is God telling you? God has told you about the fruits of the Spirit. Are you applying the fruits of the Spirit to your life professionally, personally, in every area of your life? It says, Proverbs 19:20, listen to advice and accept instruction that you may gain wisdom in the future. Javon Jackson, first person I ever broadcasted with. He was all over the place, but I'm not even going to tell you where he is now, but he was young, and he said, Ms.B, I'm telling you, You need to be charging these people. If they don't pay, then you'll understand that they're really not serious about it. I didn't listen. Listen to advice and accept instruction. This man had been out there for years, but I only been in there for a couple of months. I know, Javon, but I don't want to. And look at me 2 years later. If one gives an answer before he hears, it is his folly and shame. I'm not going to say I'm shamed, but I knew better. So I'm right back where I started from, on Blog Talk Radio, and my podcasts are no longer free. How many of you have decided you want to do things your way and wind up going right back to the way God told you to do it in the first place? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Matthew 11:15 is that I'm going to move on. He who has ears to hear, let him hear. What does that ear mean? It's not intellectually. Your spirit needs to be opened up, because so many of us don't even understand. Everything should be handled on a spiritual level. When you shut that spirit man out, that you're going to get an intellectual response, and it's going to write a check that you wish you hadn't cashed. I wasn't listening to the spirit. I was all over the place. Yeah, I know, Javon, but I don't want to do that, because I see how many people are. You're having a hard time collecting. I don't want to put myself through that. Charles Gentry told me the same thing when he brought me on board. Ms.B, we need to charge these people for podcasting and da-da-da-da-da. I said, I know, but I don't want to do it for my station. And so we had a hard time collecting for him while he was having his blog talk, Force Without Limits. And I was the one who was I said, I'm tired of running after folks. Give me your $25. You can't have a podcast. I didn't want to do that. But let me tell you something. That's the way to weed out those who are really taking it serious or can't afford to do that. You know, you may be the best dancer in the world, but if you don't have the money for the ballet shoes and the tutus and all of that, it doesn't mean that you're talented. It's that you're not equipped to do it yet. Or maybe you want to do it and you don't need to be doing it. Either way, the owner of that ballet studio can't carry the weight of everybody who comes through there who's not equipped to do what they need to do. Can you hear me now? Again, I don't care what your area of interest is. You have to focus on those who are equipped to do what's expected of them. And you have to listen. And if you're not a follower of Jesus Christ, there's something spiritual in everybody. Listen to the spirit man. Listen to your gut. Listen to that intuition. And you can't carry the weight of the world. Yes, it hurts. But if you know balance, we need to do everything in decency and in order, then there's sometimes you just have to make those changes and be comfortable with it. Because now that I've shut the noise out, I'm going back to Blog Talk. I'm going to have a live speaker station. The platforms are increasing. Somebody Googled me, and I was on 4 platforms. I didn't even know. Just Google Ms.B, positively Ms.B. Somebody even labeled me as the best interviewer. There's a lot of things out there, but once you do what you have to do, those who are equipped will follow you. It's not that you're leaving anybody behind. You just have to move forward. It's not always about allowing people to glean. Sometimes they have to sow and reap on their own. So, that being said, to the Wisdom Corner I go. Again, I thank you so much. This is the one. Don't let the noise of the world keep you from hearing the voice of the Lord. Don't let the noise of the world keep you from hearing the voice of the Lord. Listen, and I'll be honest, I love everybody. I just love everybody, and I'm serious. Even the people that hurt me, even the people that I allowed to hurt me, I love them, because forgiveness is, that's what you do. But there's some people that come around me, and they got this Job thing going. They in my ear. Why are you in podcasting? It's not making you any money. And why are you spending all that time on a computer? And why you travel when you're in pain? And why you listen to people's problems? And I mean, just why? Why don't you, even though I tell them my physical limitations. You got a nurse's license. You can be making all kind of money. Why aren't you out there? You can do private. You can, but you know what? Shut the noise out. Shut the noise out. Don't let the noise of the world keep you from hearing the voice of the Lord. Shut the noise out. I'll give you an example, and I'm again, this is going to be in my book. My children's biological father and I were married. I'm a nurse. He was a social worker. On the outside looking in, wow, 2 professionals. They don't know the circumstances why we wound up with a 3-bedroom house and a garage with a house built up from the ground. They don't know how that came about. And so when they saw a nurse and a social worker together, both working for the state, with a 3-bedroom house and a garage, oh wow, that's the ideal thing, man. You know, y'all got it going on. Okay, so you're listening. So I just, as a wife, I kept getting, oh, you got a good-looking husband. You got a fine husband. Oh, you got a professional husband. And you got 2 cars and a truck. And you got this and you got that. What are you complaining about? You need to stay and blah, 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 blah. Noise from the world. But God was telling me I was unequally yoked from the beginning. So I stick and stay thinking I was doing the right thing because the world was saying. The world was saying. But they didn't know what was going on behind closed doors. Let me tell you something. Only you and God knows what's going on in your spirit. Whether it's about your business, your relationships, whatever. Shut the noise out. And if you really listen to your spirit, you'll know it's time to get out of that abusive relationship. It's time to leave that job. It's time to find a new career. It's time to stop supporting and enabling your drug addict children. It's time. If you really listen to the small, still voice, you'll know what to do. But so many of us ignore it and say, well, I know, but get your butt out the way. Because eventually, it's going to do you harm by not listening. Don't let the noise of the world keep you from hearing the voice of the Lord. That's my take for the day. Can you hear me now? Jesus is saying, can you hear me now? Are you listening? I'm listening. And I'm not going back into the noise room until I know the Father's finished telling me what I need to do, both for Positively Ms.B, both for Storm Talk 365, the port, anything that I'm involved in. I'm shutting out the noise. I'm even texting my children because, you know, if I can't help you with your problem in the flesh, the most important thing I can do is be strong enough in the spirit to pray for you. But if I'm listening to the noise, then I can't hear what God is telling me in relationship to your situation and your needs. Take time to shut the noise out. Ministers, take time to shut the noise out. You can't handle every congregate's issue. Teach them how to pray for themselves. Teach them how to go before the throne themselves. Give them scriptures. Parents, there's so many agencies out there to help your drug addict children. You can't save the world, but you can save yourself. What does that got to do with saving your soul? The decisions that we make now will determine what happens to us spiritually later. If you're so sidetracked, listen to the noise of the world, then you can't hear what the Father has planned for you. And before you know it, it's like, what? You have people over there in Puerto Rico drinking water from the sewage system. Why am I telling you that? Spiritually, are you drinking water from sewage? Are you allowing yourself to be fed and led when you know something is not quite right with the message, but it seems okay, you're desperate? If the right type of information came to the people in Puerto Rico, there's so many people out there who know survivalist techniques and how to purify that water. And it doesn't take any chemicals. There's so many other ways that they can purify water, and nobody is teaching them. And it's out there. Are you allowing yourself to be taught by people who are not really based biblically, but giving you opinions on what they think you should do? Are you listening to the Lord? Have you shut the noise out? There's something in your spirit that goes, that's not right. The last time I went to a mega preachers conference in Richmond, Virginia, I was so excited. I got off at 7 o'clock in the morning, changed clothes. I was over there by 8 because the doors opened up at 10, and I wanted to be in line. But when I got there, I didn't want to be down on the floor. It was, you know, I was really in the front. And I went up, you know, I went up high. I was so excited, you know. And so they had all the opening acts, and then when he came on, all of a sudden I stopped smiling. I looked around and like, wait a minute. And then I leaned over with my elbows on my knees. Have some of you ever leaned over with your elbows on your knees going, that ain't right? I'm not feeling this. Have you ever been to a club and all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to be here? You've been to a restaurant and you thought that's what I wanted, and you look at the menu and close like, I really don't want nothing here. But yet you ordered something anyway. That was a mistake. Once you get that still small voice that says something ain't right and you still move, you get heartburn, indigestion, diarrhea, don't eat. Don't eat, because it's not going to settle well with you. Can you hear me now? So, what I want to tell all of you is, shut the noise out. Sit down and be still. The Father said He would never leave you or forsake you, and there's always a way out, but you got to listen. Not to other people, but listen. And for me, it's the Holy Ghost. For you, it may be your gut, your intuition. Sometimes you have to go back to past experiences and say, you know, I've been there, done that, don't want to do it again, ain't doing it again, and stop it. Some of you keep going around and having the same bad relationships. Shut the noise out. Pay attention to the signs. Because I'm telling you what, there's so many things that the Father has showed me that I can do. Wisdom Hope said it. She wasn't specifically talking to me, but there's so many things that I can do to create healthier finances for me. People have been telling me for 2 years, write a book. Didn't do it. Say, what? All I have, and I got one almost finished, and the other one is pretty much started. But that's a form of income, even if it's a 99 cents. I'm not doing with what I have to do to get what I need. A book. I had my own sewing shop. I let everything stop me. Guess what? Thanks to Pablo Stinnett, my wonderful new son, who's a 5-time Grammy winner. He's the manager of Ziggy Marley's band. He made me buy my website, my domain site for my new clothing line. He said, you're going to get this done. So I'm going to start my clothing line. There's so many things that I can do right here, and I have to ever leave my home. What gifts are you ignoring because of you being overwhelmed with the noise from the world? All right, everybody, this is Ms.B, Positively Ms.B. Shameless plug, go see the cameo models at the Stony Point Fashion Show this afternoon. I'm going to post the link up there. And please, be prepared to be bombarded with more information about the 2017 Interfaith National Summit, the Sacred Veil Church at Risk, coming up November 9th through the 11th. I'm telling you, you all are paying to go to all of these different events. You should consider sending at least one representative to this event, because being proactive legally, we have representatives from major corporations, how to do a 501c, financial representatives, and of course the dynamic Michelle Redd herself, ecclesiastical lawyer. There's nothing more important than being proactive. And so many of you are waiting until something happens, then you want somebody to bail you out. Same thing with Jesus. He's giving you all the opportunity, scriptures to understand what you need to do. You don't listen, then when it happens, Lord, can you help me? So my suggestion is, and again, you will be bombarded because we have less than 3 weeks left, and there's some things that Michelle has put in place that we can activate as far as getting your room. Even if you don't want to go to the whole summit, the rooms are now, I don't think it's over yet. I'll check. But if it is, I'll be putting a flyer out. I'm going to be going into your groups. I'm letting you know, I'm going into your groups. Mama ain't playing. Y'all need to understand that this Interfaith Summit is real. It is not something to just go and play around with. You don't have to be a church leader. Any leader who has had any discrimination in the workplace, whether it be sexual or anything like that, it's very important. These leaders have come together with I keep saying dynamic panel, and I'm excited about it. So please look for more information on the Church at Risk. Join us on all social media, Church at Risk, the Facebook group page, Church at Risk National Summit, and Church at Risk. That being said, everybody, this is Ms. B, Positively Ms. B. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. East Coast time. Praise the Lord. Every Saturday after that, it will be a live Blog Talk Radio podcast. I'll be going live on Facebook as well as Blog Talk. You'll be seeing the flyer. My first show will not have a guest, but we'll be talking about the history of Christianity, and doesn't matter. And every Saturday after that will be another topic with or without a guest. And of course, unless something happens that I can't do it live. I will be live, but you may get a recording depending on what's going on. All right, everybody, this is Ms. B. Thank you all for joining me. I look forward to you joining me every day, 10 a.m., Lord's willing, with a different topic, something to encourage you to grow spiritually. I'm not preaching to you, teaching to you. I'm not even telling you if you don't believe in Jesus Christ, you're wrong, because that's judgmental. I'm telling you, for me, I believe that Jesus Christ is the only way that Jehovah God, my Father, my Creator, and I ain't got time to be playing with that because I don't want to go to hell. So if you want more about Jesus Christ, join me every morning at 10 a.m. and I'm talking to you from the heart, the things that He's fed me, and I'm just merely sharing it with you. All right, this is Ms. B. See y'all. Have a wonderful Sabbath. Have a great Saturday. Look forward to Sunday if that's a Sabbath for you, but either way, I'll be here with you tomorrow morning. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.